Collecting for the Sega Genesis in 2021 can make any game collector go, oh, I don't want to go down that road. But in today's episode, we're going to tell you about 10 dingers on the Sega Genesis that you can get for under $10. What are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking Future You Hates You by Adroit Theory. This is a Russian Imperial Stout with coffee, coconut, hazelnuts, and cacao nibs.
That sounds like it's getting a little deep. You know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss one of our bi-weekly uploads. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's talk about 10 cheap Sega Genesis games that's going to make you just want to go, Sega!
Hey, Sean from the Nerd Lair here, and you're watching Gaming Off the Grid. Now go away.
Alright, it's Sega Genesis time. We've started this little series trying to get the collector in 2021 some good cheap finds and kind of show that it is not as impossible to collect for retro consoles as people might think. Now there are games that are stupid expensive, but today's episode we're going to focus on 10 very cheap games that are pretty damn good on the Sega Genesis.
And technically, this list is actually 15 games, so stay tuned for that. And speaking of that, let's jump into the first game. This game is 6 games in one. It's called the 6-Pack, and it comes in at $9.74.
Yeah.
Which is an insane value. You get 6 games for under $10, and these games are awesome.
The value here, I think if this was like the first game you got on a Genesis, you'd be very happy. Now, all the prices we have in this episode are from pricecharting.com, which may or may not include like repros in that price. I don't know how they sort that out, but anyway, that's where we're getting our data from, and the prices of loose Genesis games. A lot of collectors like getting that CIB because Genesis had those awesome clamshells. But back to the 6-pack, you get Golden Axe, Sonic the Hedgehog, Columns, Revenge of Shinobi, amazing game, Streets of Rage, the first one, which is awesome, and Super Hang-On, and it's going for $9.74.
What an insane value. Like that, you could just have this game only for the Sega Genesis and you'd be set forever. Like, those are amazing games, and for that price, that's hard to pass up.
Yeah, and for this time frame, before like multi-carts were a huge deal, this is kind of, from what I know, like the first of its kind. I don't know of anything like this.
I don't know anything.
You know, you had Super Mario All-Stars that had all the Mario games, but to have 6 different representations of a game packed into one
cart, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to Vector Man 2, the second one. I played the first one a lot. I haven't really played the second one that much.
I like the first one better.
Yes, but if you play the first one, the second one's very similar. It's a platformer where you can jump and you can shoot things. It's really fun, and this game comes in at $9.59.
Yeah.
I do think the first one is better, but Vector Man 2 is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. More of the same from the first one. I just feel like the level design in Vector Man 2 is a little more blah. But it is a good game, and for the price, $9.59, I think it's a pretty darn good pickup. Now it's time for a little bit of Disney. We tried not doing a ton of repeats from our Super Nintendo episode, but Aladdin on the Sega Genesis is different from the Aladdin on the Super Nintendo. As the Super Nintendo one was made by Capcom, the one on the Genesis wasn't. There's that age-old debate, which Aladdin's better. I tend to say the Super Nintendo is.
I like the Genesis version.
And most people, I feel like if you pulled 10 retro gamers, probably 6 or 7 of them would say the Genesis one's better. So Aladdin, $9.21, and Lion King, that little fibber, he's only $6.
Which is insane, and I think this version of Lion King is better than the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but on the Aladdin side, but we've already had that argument in the Super Nintendo episode, but you can get your Disney on pretty cheap on the Sega Genesis. Welcome to your doom.
Ooh, Altered
Beast.
Oh, Beast.
Yeah.
Altered Beast. This game is so badass, but this game always makes me laugh, and every time that guy talks, I think the speaker's gonna blow out.
Power up.
But it's such a awesome, fun game that's on every Genesis collection, and this game is so cheap. This game comes in at $8.97. It's a classic. It's a Genesis classic.
I do love this game. My one part of me that, like, if I wanted to nitpick at it, the game feels really stiff to me, but it's the voiceover work is worth playing it in and of itself. So again, great cheap pick there on the Genesis. Now, Mortal Kombat 2.
Does.
You can also get Mortal Kombat 1 super cheap, but you can get that game for about $7.92. Again, reminder, we're talking about loose, cart-only prices, but Mortal Kombat 2, I mean, what else needs to be said?
Iconic fighting game.
And the Genesis versions of Mortal Kombat are the superior versions when you're comparing to the Super Nintendo. Now, if all you have is a Super Nintendo, yes, they're still great, but the Genesis ones, for whatever reason, I just feel like fighting games belong on the Genesis, with the exception of Street Fighter Turbo, but that's another day. But Mortal Kombat, super cheap, and it was just a staple of the era. Whether it be in arcades, Mortal Kombat just feels so 90s, feels so Sega Genesis. It's one that you just kind of have to have.
You know what else feels like Sega Genesis? A little guy named Sonic. I don't get it. Sonic Spinball is $5.25, and it's such a unique spin on the Sonic games, but
No
Sonic
pun
Spinball,
intended.
Ooh. I didn't even see what I did there. But it's such a fun game.
It is, yeah.
Spinball.
It's just like pinball, but you're playing with Sonic. I think the level designs are beautiful. I like this game a ton. I would rather play this game than any Sonic the Hedgehog
Hands
game.
down, because this is like, I feel like this is how Sonic's supposed to be. Just a fast-moving ball,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I just love those games, and I like pinball a lot when I'm at the arcades and stuff, so that game, it was just really unique. I still love going back and playing it. And yeah, Sonic Spinball is amazing, and for that price, you can't beat it. Now, we're going to kind of double up here.
Yes, so this game is in the 6-pack.
It is.
But this game, I love my puzzle games.
You're obsessed with them.
And columns. This game comes in at under $5. It's $4.72, which is dirt cheap for an amazing puzzle game that's 2 players. And dude, it's so much fun, but it's so hard, and you gotta like rewire your brain on how to play. Like, because I play Dr. Mario all the time, and it's different.
Yeah, and columns is weird because I feel like it doesn't get talked about as much in the retro gaming scene because Tetris and Dr. Mario are just so beloved. But this game, I think, is more difficult than those 2 games.
Yes.
And maybe it's just because I haven't played it as much, but anytime I play columns, I have a blast. And so we're kind of doubling up on some columns love, but you can get the game for $4.72.
Yeah, that's insane.
So if you didn't want to get the 6-pack for $9.74, or if you just really love columns like I want, solely on a cartridge, super cheap. The next game we're going to talk about is a game that is fairly new to us, Subterranea. Very unique, and it's weird that we found this game kind of after we found the Affordable Space Adventure.
Yes, and it's very similar to that.
It is, in the sense that you have to control, I think this game it would be considered a shooter, but it's very unique because you have to control the thrust of your ship.
Yes.
While also shooting things.
And
it's very difficult.
You only have your one D-pad, and that's how you control where you're shooting and where your ship's going.
Yeah.
Dude, the learning curve in this game is kind of tough because you're in charge of the gas, and if you don't press the gas, your ship's falling.
Yeah.
And you have a fuel meter. And if you hit things, run into the wall, your shield gets... This game's difficult just because of that learning curve, but a lot of fun.
It is, and, I like games that when I play them, I'm like, with all the games I've ever played, I've never played a game that's exactly like that. And that's very weird because I've played tons of 8-bit and 16-bit era games, and to play a game like, okay, this is unique.
Unique and different.
Have to retrain my brain.
Yeah.
Haven't played like this before. It could, if it was just a side-scrolling or a tube shooter, vertical scrolling shooter, I'd be like, yeah, I know what to do. This really took some work.
It messed with my brain. I was like, what? I have to do all this at once? I don't have my pilot's license.
So... comic book fans, there's tons of good offerings. You've got your Comic Zone, you've got your X-Men games, Spider-Man games, all that stuff on the Genesis. But this is kind of some superheroes, kind of in a comic book realm. But it's not really a licensed type of thing. It's just called X-Mutants. And this game is a really good action platformer. Is it fair to say maybe a little bit of Metroidvania-esque because you're kind of in a maze?
You are. I mean, there are arrows on the map that tell you where to go, but then there's all these side areas where you can get health, extra lives, different weapons.
Yeah.
This game reminds me a lot of Ultra Core, which is such a great game. And I think out of all the games we talked about, this might be my favorite out of this entire list. This game is so awesome, and it's new to me.
Yeah.
It's just so sweet.
Great sprite work. You can get the game for $8.25. It's just a beautiful game to play. The bad guys, those little squirrels, are so annoying and so fast. But this game is just a beautiful game. You put it in. If you love that 16-bit era look, this game absolutely freaking nailed it. And it's a game that we have the ability to emulate, but we don't own, and we're gonna change that.
We're gonna buy it for
Gotta get it CIB. Yeah, well, we'll probably get a little more than that because we're going CIB. But all this is, again, loose prices. Now, collecting for the Genesis is a little goofy. in 2021 because I feel like a lot of people want CIB.
Yes.
And for the Genesis, that really drives up the mark, as it does with a lot of games. But I feel like people are more inclined to say I want a Genesis game CIB than a Super Nintendo or NES game because those were cardboard boxes. These have those awesome clamshell cases.
Now, you can make your own, which we have a whole video about making your own custom cases.
Yeah.
But I will say that the making your own Genesis cases, they don't look quite the same as the clamshell.
Yeah, because this has got a smaller profile than a standard game case. Ever so slightly, but it is different. But man, if you can get a Genesis case with the hang tab, it's just
pure nostalgia.
It is for sure.
The Genesis, man, is awesome, and it's weird because the Genesis is like new to me. Like I didn't play it growing up.
Yeah, it's not new to me, but I didn't own one growing up. So collecting for it, the nostalgia really hasn't been there. But here lately, Riff from Pixel Game Squad has been getting into collecting the Genesis, and in watching his videos, I'm like,
oh, you dirty devil!
Dang it. I need to get some better Genesis games. So we're working our way through our collection. We got a few there, got some over here. We're trying to just go for all killer, no filler, CIB, although we do have some loose boys over here. But it is a really fun console to collect for, but man, some of the games are getting stupid expensive.
Yes.
So that's why we thought it would be fun to do this episode to show you that it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. Because I think if these were the only games you had in your collection,
oh my gosh,
you'd be like, my Genesis collection's pretty badass.
And you'd be set for a long time.
Yeah.
And speaking of being set, let's talk about this beer. This is Future You Hates You, which is a very aggressive name for a beer. Russian Imperial Stout with coffee, coconut, hazelnuts, cacao nibs. This guy comes in at 13.5%.
And you would never know it.
Adroit Theory. What do you think?
Well, first off, I gotta say thank you, BK, our good friend, sent us this. He's hooked us up with so many good brews over the year. Much love, man. And Adroit Theory always delivers. We've only had a few brews. It's very, very difficult to get in our area. It takes a friend like BK to find it and send it to us to be able to get it, because I don't think you can get it in the Midwest.
No, I haven't seen it.
But as far as the beer goes, Imperial Stouts, I've had tons of them, and I'm pretty critical about Imperial Stouts, and this is top shelf.
Yeah.
This is that 9.5 to 10 out of 10. This is a great beer. It's very sweet. You would never know it's 13.5%.
It is
The
thick. Flavor
flavor profile, I can pick all the pieces out. The coconut really brightens and sweetens up this beer.
Yep.
I would say this is like a dessert stout. The hazelnut flavor is the one flavor in there that I feel is a little buried in the profile. I'm not picking up as much on that, but holy shit, this is a fantastic Russian Imperial Stout.
This is so good. It's like kind of like velvety. Like if someone were to melt chocolate and you're just drinking like chocolate, that's kind of what this tastes like. This is definitely a sipper. Like this is so good. But like it's just, oh man, the flavor is so good.
What are those chocolates? I think it maybe starts with an F there though. It wrapped in the gold foil and it's like a ball, and you unwrap it and it's got like a hazelnut chocolate and there's like maybe a little bit of Coke. They're kind of crispy. Can't think of the name.
The cranberry eggs?
No. We'll put a picture of it up as we're editing this, but that's what this reminds me of, is exactly one of those.
I don't think I've ever had one.
It starts with an F, I think. I can't remember. They're really freaking good, and it reminds me a lot of this beer.
The only thing I'm thinking of is a Reese's egg, and those are delicious.
They are, but they don't taste like this, and this tastes like that gold ball. Chocolate ball thing.
Rolos?
No. It's I know what I'm thinking of. We'll put a picture on the screen because I'm not gonna be able to think of the name.
It's just gonna say right here, image not found.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. It's a real thing, and you guys you'll see it. You will see it. But anyway, guys, don't fear collecting retro games in 2021. All these can be got on the cheap and get you well on your way to an awesome Sega Genesis collection. And we haven't even talked about in these episodes that if you just want to play on OG hardware and have a ton of games, you could even look at getting a multi-cart.
Ooh, that might be a future episode talking about multi-carts.
It's just a thing. It is a thing. And, this is kind of a multi-cart, but they make multi-carts with more games. So anyways, collecting for the Genesis in 2021, it can be done. And with that, all we got to say is, Sega! We'll see you next time, right here on Gaming Off the Grid. And we haven't even talked about in these episodes that if you just want to play on OG hardware and have a ton of games, you could even look at getting
Should we try this first?
Yeah.
Just in case it's too good.
Yeah, because if it's too good, we'll just drink it quick and grab a different beer.
Wow. That's like velvety.
I love this job. pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's talk about 10 cheap Sega Genesis games that's gonna make you just want to go, Sega!
Ooh, I like that. I did not expect that. But I liked it.
I'm gonna go find my Sonic hat.
Ooh.
Even though he's a fuck.
Sonic is a boner dog. I hate him. I hate him. Sonic and his good pal Moose Knuckle. The Adventures of Sonic and Moose Knuckle.
That's a good cartoon.
It sounds like a Sonic and like Bullwinkle collaboration.
Collecting for the Sega Genesis in 2021 can make any game collector say, oh, I don't want to go down that road. But in today's episode, we're going to tell you... Okay.